And by the way, everyone, happy Halloween! Bright and early in the morning, after all the dogs had eaten their breakfast and had a good stretch, Danny let them out of the yard to play. This was usually one of Daisy's favorite times of the day. She loved it when Millie and she chased each other around the grassy field, or when they laid side by side and scratched their backs on the ground while looking up at the clouds. She especially liked tugging on opposite ends of the same rope. Millie made every day fun, but not today. Today, Daisy vowed to stay as far away from her best friend as she could. When Millie stopped for a drink of water, Daisy trotted over to the other side of the yard and pretended to be very interested in chewing on a stick. Eventually, Millie came over, her tail wagging and her ears at attention. "Hey, Daisy, you want to play? Kim just threw some new toys out." Daisy desperately shook her head, desperately wanted to play with Millie, but she shook her head. "No, I don't want to. I'm busy." She went in the yard to other dogs. Buster seemed to have fun chasing his own tail. "I think I'll go play with Buster," she announced. Daisy hurried away, but not before she saw the confused look in Millie's eyes. Daisy felt terrible about deserting her friends. "But this is all part of the plan," she reminded herself. "I'm doing this for Millie's good." At first, Buster seemed just as confused as Millie when Daisy had asked him if she could play. But he welcomed the help in chasing his tail. For some reason, it was hard to do on his own. Even when Daisy started to get dizzy, she kept running around in circles. Until Millie came over, trying to get her attention again. "Can I play too? Please?" Millie asked politely. "Sure," said Buster. "Between the three of us, we're sure to catch our tails." But Daisy was already backing away. "I'm pretty tired of playing," she said, "but you two have fun." With that, Daisy walked away. She spotted Laura cleaning around the yard. Behind the dogs and decided to follow her. Maybe she was busy helping if she looked busy helping a staff member work, Millie would stay away. "Hi, Daisy," Laura said brightly as Daisy patted over. Laura rubbed her ears before saying, "Where's your friend Millie?" Daisy couldn't help glancing back across the yard where she left Millie chasing Buster's tail. But now Millie was standing still like Daisy, looking lost. It seemed as she had gotten the hint that Daisy wanted to be left alone. Daisy's plan was working. She should have felt good, but instead, she felt worse than ever. Taking a little time apart, Laura said, "Well, that's alright. You want to keep me company instead?" Daisy barked once before rubbing her bored head on Laura's knee. "Arf, arf!" "I'll take that as a yes," said Laura. For the next 15 minutes, Daisy walked alongside Laura as she refilled water bowls and plucked weeds out of the grass and gathered up stray toys that needed to be washed. It wasn't as fun as playing with Millie. But she did like the way Laura talked to her the whole time she went about her tax. It was just what she needed to take her mind off the fact that her plan to make Millie think they weren't friends anymore was working. Maybe now Millie would feel okay about getting adopted without her. The day went by slowly. Without Millie to talk to, Daisy didn't know what to do herself. She napped. She visited Sable. And wanted the house. But that was only enough to fill a couple of hours. She was glad when a truck pulled up to the house and provided a new distraction. Daisy watched through an open door as Danny and Ron greeted the driver out front. Together, the freedom placed boxes into the back of the truck. Inside, there were more supplies for the adoption event, which was only a few days away now. After the driver left, Ron opened up the boxes to rebuild a stack of connected crates. They unfolded into a basic square shape with a door on one side. Danny opened the second box to rebuild an already assembled doghouse that looked exactly Danny and Ron's rescue, but only smaller. It's perfect! Danny exclaimed, moving the doghouse into the center of the square. The dogs can rest in here when it gets too hot. Or if it rains, Ron added. I'm not sure if the storm heading down the coast will land here or not. Well, if it does, we're gonna be ready, said Danny. For now on, we should see if these gates will work for the Stars Wars shows. I'll be back with a few volunteers. Daisy didn't know what that by volunteers he meant dogs until he came bounding into the house to scoop Luna up. She may have been nervous for most people, but not Danny. She relaxed against his shoulder while he scanned the room. That's one, he said. Now I need two more. When he spotted Millie in the dining room, he called her forward. Ah, Millie the T-shirt bandit. Makes two. Where's your partner in crime? Daisy knew he meant her. She tried to burrow between the couch cushions, but she could only hide her front half. Her other half was sticking out in the open. Danny patted her back gently and said, Okay, Daisy, you're number 3. Now come out. Daisy slowly popped out from the couch and followed Millie and Luna and Danny out to the front yard. Ron smiled as Danny ushered Daisy and Millie through the open door of the gates and then set Luna down between them. If these 3 like it, he said, I think the gates will work great for the adoption event. Danny was glad to have chosen Luna to be one of the volunteers. Not only had Luna proven to be a good friend, but with her around, Daisy could avoid Millie for just a little while. No longer. Every time Millie tried to get close to talk to her, Daisy moved closer to Luna. She stuck to the poodle as she investigated, sniffing at the gates and poking her head into the doghouse. Ow! Luna howled into the empty space. She smiled with her tongue sticking out. I bet when all the dogs are adopted, they'll get a doghouse just like this to sleep in. Yeah, maybe, Daisy said. Pretty soon we'll get to meet all the people who want to take a dog home. Maybe they'll want one like me, Luna continued. As Luna went on, happily picturing the families who would come to the event, Daisy became more and more overwhelmed. It was all too much. She knew when a storm was coming. And because the air would smell different, her hair would stand up on each end. And she felt the same way now about the adoption event. All she wanted to do was hide. But she didn't have her blanket. So she scurried into the small doghouse and settled down in the shade. Millie poked her nose in curiously. "Oh, Daisy, are you okay?" But Daisy quickly closed her eyes and pretended to be asleep. She even added in some loud snoring sounds. Millie crept closer and sniffed at Daisy, but still, she didn't stir. The next thing Daisy heard was Millie barking and pulling at the door. "Ruff, ruff! Ron, come quick! Ruff!" she called. "Something's wrong with Daisy!" Ron, who had been standing outside the enclosure to her chat with Danny, came over to see what all the fuss is about. "What is it, Millie? Did you see a squirrel?" But Millie ran back to the doghouse and barked and barked. Daisy eased one eye open enough to see Millie looking from Ron to the doghouse and back again. That's all it took to put him on high alert. He hurried inside, then peered down at Daisy. "Is everything all right?" Danny asked. "Oh, I'm not sure," Ron said, reaching into the doghouse to pat Daisy's head. "She's been sleeping a lot today. If more than usual, it's clear Millie thinks something is wrong." Then Danny realized the words that made Daisy realize that she had played this all wrong. "Maybe it's time to take her to the vet."